Good afternoon or morning whenever you're watching this. And this is my Mexico's World Population by Alexander Asal. The background of Mexico is that Mexico is located in the southern portion of North America, directly south of the United States. The main language which is spoken in Mexico is Spanish, but there is also many English speakers there because of the close proximity. Eng- Mexico is known for their amazing art styles as well as their culture and food. Many people tend to vacation to Mexico territories, but specifically they stay in the resorts area, as some consider it to be unsafe in other parts of Mexico. Now we're going to look at calculating the rate for the population. In order to calculate the rate at which the population grows between each decade, we have to plug in the population of 1950 for P and the population of 1960 for A. Next, we must find that the number is 10 for T, as it is a 10 years difference between the two. Knowing all this, we should be able to calculate R using the natural log, as you can see in my work shown here. So I divided by the population in 1950. Then I got the natural log of each side and divided by 10, finding that the R is 0.3. Now if we take a gander at this next slide, we can see the population of Mexico all the way from 1950 through 2020 in decade increments. So we can see that it starts off as this, and then slowly the population grows. But the rate of change does get smaller, but it does not become a negative number, so it still grows, just not as quickly as seen in the rate of change shown. Now, for the equation. Due to the fact that the rate of change is not constant throughout the population, because it's not going to be the same for every single year, we'll have different equations for every single year. So from 1950 to 1960, it'll be a different equation from, let's say, 1970 to 1980. We'll have multiple formulas for finding the population per decade. As seen here, we have a equation for each decade starting from 1950 to 1960 to 2010 to 2020. Here we have a quick population graph shown, just as one I drew in Notability and one I did in Desmos. We have the population in millions, of course, on the sides, and just the year for the x-axis. So we can see from 1950, it keeps gradually rising up. Even from 2020, it's going to keep going up and up and up, according to the graph. And you can also see that each one of these is a growth in the population. It's never a decay. Now we have to take a quick look at the population of Mexico in 2021. In order to estimate the population of Mexico in 2021, you must take the growth rate from 2020 and the population and plug in 1 year's time. As you can see in my estimation here, I got the estimated population to be 138.48 million, but the actual population of Mexico in 2021 is 130.74 million. This is because the prediction will never be exactly correct because it's a prediction, we can't exactly predict the new rate of change that the population will have. A common reminder that you should keep in your head when predicting the population is that the population prediction will never be 100% ever. The prediction for the population will never be correct because the population rate of change will never be the same every single year. Another reason is that due to the fact that when countries become stage 5 on the demographic transition model scale, the country's population will eventually hit a maximum where the rate will become negative and the population will decay. Now we have to take a quick look at how does the population change affect the country and the world. The population change affects Mexico because it shows how we are going to allocate our industry's resources, as well as show how much food the country will need to produce to sustain itself. This will also affect the whole world because the population of the whole world is going to eventually reach its limit, meaning at some point in the future, if the world's countries keep growing, the earth will not be able to sustain the population when it comes to housing or hunger. Will the pattern of this model change? The model will continue to grow until the country reaches a point where the population will begin to dwindle. Whether this is just from natural decay or due to some kind of outside problem, eventually, no matter what, the country's population will decay. And finally, we're going to look at the Mexican population in 2025. So this is 5 years or 4 years from now. The first thing we have to do is calculate the rate of change from 2020 to 2021 using natural log. As you can see, I did this here by dividing it by the population in 2020, and I get 1.01 equals e to the r. Get the natural log of that, which is natural log of 1.01 equals r, so that means r equals 0.14, which is the rate. Now we have to plug this into our population. So after we find the rate is 0.014%, we will use the equation to solve for A, 2025. P being the population during 2021, and the years being 4, since it's 4 years away from 2021. Now when we plug this into a calculator, the A for 2025 will be 138.27 million. And that'll be the estimated population of Mexico for 2025. Thank you for watching, and that was my population world growth prediction video.